All right. So I've got wheelinradio.com. What else do we have? I know we got it's facebook.com/wheelinradio.
Correct.
We got the Patreon one.
Yeah.
Which I think is just, again, patreon.com/wheelinradio. What else?
We got the Twitter.
Twitter? Yep, I got that somewhere here.
Yeah, and that's this Wheelin Radio on Twitter.
Yep. Okay.
And then we have Instagram.
God, we got a lot of these.
We do.
And then it's all the same stuff for the museum.
Yeah, pretty much, but they're different names, of course. It's, the Museum of Off-Road Adventure or the Mora or whatever.
Okay, I know we got the more.org.
Okay.
We got a lot of ways to get
Are you just realizing that we are social media addicts, or that we're just trying to reach out?
There's a lot more than I thought we had.
Didn't I talk about that on a couple episodes ago, where I had to make that tree for my kid?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No, I've been wanting to get a chart, just a page together of all our links.
You're trying to figure it out for yourself, too?
Maybe. There's a lot to follow. I don't do the Twitter thing, and I won't do the Twitter thing.
Well, but
I do the rest of it.
What's interesting about that is, we've been doing these through the museum this day in off-road history posts that come up 10 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
And they've been amazingly popular, and the traffic to the Facebook page for the museum has just gone up. In the last 3 weeks, I think we've something like 300 new likes on the page.
Sweet.
Same things happened with Instagram, because we basically copy and paste the same post. Mm-hmm. And so on Instagram, we're getting a lot more traffic. And we're doing the same thing on Twitter, but on Twitter for the museum, we're getting almost no traffic.
Huh.
But yet, a lot of times when we do stuff on Wheelin and we put it on, Facebook, and then we do it on the Instagram and Twitter as well, our Twitter on Wheelin keeps building, and I don't know where these people on Twitter even finding us. It's really weird. I don't understand. Like, to me, why are we more successful via, say, YouTube and Twitter through Wheelin, but then the museum, which we're both involved in, is more successful through Facebook and Instagram?
I have no idea. I got one more.
What's that?
Are we on MySpace yet?
Oh, my God. No. I've never been on MySpace. Have you ever been on MySpace?
Yeah, my account's still there. I'll log in once every 6 months or so.
How did you have MySpace? You're younger than me.
Because I had that before Facebook. That was before Facebook.
What, did you have one when you were like 6?
No. You're not that much older than me.
Do you want to actually talk about trucks or something today?
Fine.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
It's time to hit the trail, lock in those hubs, and throw it into low range. Because you are listening to Wheelin' with Keith and Johnny Orange, broadcasting from the Thin Line Off-Road Studio. They're here to talk about 4x4s, trucks, and everything to do with enjoying the great outdoors. Buckle up. Here's your hosts, Keith and Johnny Orange.
All right, John. You and I talked about this episode, coming up to this episode.
We did.
Do you remember what the significance? There's no significance for us for the number 42. We could have done something through World War II stuff or something like that. This is episode 42.
Yeah, I just realized I wrote the wrong number down on all of my notes.
But in history, this year is and it's coming up
in a couple days.
In a couple days, so it would be actually when this episode loads, which is what, February 3rd?
Yep.
February 3rd is 101 years since Clessie Cummins founded the Cummins Engine Company.
Indeed.
So, happy birthday, Cummins. It's 101 years. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not singing.
You're not singing to him?
Nope. I don't sing birthday songs.
101 years of Cummins. But
is
not 101 years of Cummins engines.
No.
So, but since the company itself, was founded, and you did a bunch of research and stuff like that.
I had to cut back on a lot of the notes. So I'm summarizing the biggest thing. Cummins.com, no G. For the love of God, there is no G. It's not Cummings. Cummins.
Oh, come on. you don't like calling them Cummins engines?
No. Cummins.com/timeline.
Okay.
And I
Oh,
was.
hang on. Seriously?
Yeah.
They have a whole history on their website?
Yep.
I totally missed
Starts
this.
in 1918, goes all the way up to the 100-year anniversary note.
Well, let me see your notes just real quick while we're doing this. I mean, so how did you found this through just looking?
Just Googling Cummins history, Cummins wiki, see what kind of information I could come up with. And so this is a combination of like 4 different websites worth of information. I was going to copy and just make a highlights note of all the information from the timeline. But when I did that, I went from 7 pages of notes to 34 pages.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I found some other areas that had like a condensed major history point, so I just kind of rolled with that.
Yeah, I see like you got your major milestones and stuff like that. I'm going to hand this back to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Listeners, I'm going to apologize right away. I don't think it's coronavirus.
No, that's definitely not Corona in that glass.
I'm trying not to cough, but I have had the head cold / throat thing.
The plague.
The plague.
2020 plague.
Yeah, it started over a week ago. So last episode you could hear me. I think I'm at the tail end of it, but I'm hoping John can do most of the talking on this episode.
I'll do
and
my
I'm going
best.
to interject where I need to.
I'm going to blame you next week, though, when I get the plague.
Okay. So John, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Well, and I've got one first for you to help you cure your coronavirus.
Okay.
You got to go out back in the woods and catch some Lyme disease, and you'll be fine.
Put a little bit of lime in the corona. Yeah, there you go. Let me ask you this. In your research, and I only actually, this is not something, I don't know a ton of Cummins history. I know some hit points. I know a lot more about Cummins engines from, say, 1989 to now.
The B-Series engines. I got a whole stack of notes on that alone.
So let me ask you, to get us started,
Okay.
how did Cummins, and tell us a little bit about Cummins.
Okay. Where to start here? So he started in William G. Irwin's garage. He set up a shop. It was a former cereal mill located on the first floor, and started his machine shop company. 5,000 square feet of workspace, and this was all in 1918. He started kind of outgrowing it. The guy had a host of jobs. So he was the Irwin family chauffeur, the Marmon Motor Company pit crew member, automobile repair shop owner, and in 1919, at the age of 30, making me feel real not up to par.
Hang on. The Irwin worked with Marmon, or Cummins worked with Marmon?
Clessy Cummins worked as a pit crew member.
For the Marmon.
Yeah.
And that's the same company.
I didn't even connect that.
That's the Marmon Car Company that
Yeah.
eventually became Marmon Harrington,
Yeah.
which is still technically in business today, but one of the first successful producers of four-wheel drive conversions.
I never even realized that. That's awesome.
I'm dying.
Go get some of that lime. You'll be fine. So at the age of 30, he was elected the president of the Cummins Engine Company. And thus they were founded in February 13th in Columbus, Indiana. And forever changed diesel history.
You're saying third? Okay, so I thought my research said the third.
Yeah, established February 3rd, 1919.
Oh, you just said 13th.
3rd, 1919.
Oh, okay, all right.
My bad.
That's all right.
So they were inspired by Rudolph Diesel's innovation, of course. And he was financially backed by William Irwin and just started the company and exploded from there.
Now, from what I had read originally, was that so Rudolph Diesel had created this essentially engine that was originally going to run off of, say, peanut oil or other...
Yeah, compression ignition oil engine.
Yeah, but it was going to be like oil or byproduct oils. And they'd had some success there, but Cummins thought that there was a lot of room for improvement on the technology. And so the company itself was founded with the idea of improving upon Rudolf Diesel's design.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't look too much up on him. I was more or less going by the company itself.
So they started in 1919.
Yes.
But it was a few years before they had a commercially successful engine.
Yes. I kind of left that part out of my notes for some reason. And now I feel like an idiot.
Oh no, that's all right. That's all right. I think it was around the early 30s, maybe, or 38, that the Model H engine.
1933.
33.
I did have it.
And that was the Model H engine, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Used in small railroad switchers.
Yes, and that was their first commercially successful engine. Yep. I don't know how many cylinders that was, but maybe it was a 1-cylinder. It might have been a 4. I don't know.
That I don't have.
Yeah, but so that it really took off really quickly.
Oh yeah.
So after that, what did unless I jump forward too much in your notes, what else?
After that, the Cummins N series. So that was a big industry leader in post-World War II building boom, as far as all the road manufacturing and stuff like that. And in more than half the heavy-duty truck market from 1952 to 1959.
Okay.
So they just absolutely dominated. Then in the 60s, and I found this interesting, I never looked to see how close I got to there, but in the 60s, they opened an assembly plant in Shotts, Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. So I was, as you know, a family trip to Scotland when I was just out of high school. The plant closed in 96, so I was unfortunately no longer there. So, yeah. And then by 2013, they had operations in 197 countries and territories. And then their parts are through more than 600 company-owned distributors and over 6,000 dealers. So parts and availability from a lot of different places.
Oh,
to
yeah,
say
for
the
sure.
least.
Back in the historical timeline up there, there's something you might be of interest, and maybe it's a task that I need to send Mr. Johnny Orange himself out to do.
Uh-oh. Homework. I don't
know that I necessarily want to just give this up. Maybe I should, because the reality of us or the museum ever founding this expedition is maybe slim. Mm-hmm. But someone needs to do it. Do you have any information? Maybe I'll give this to you in pieces. Do you have any information about Cummins and his engine development history with the Indianapolis racing?
No. I do not.
You didn't dig up anything on that?
I don't recall reading across any of it. Like I said, I didn't read through all the information that I got. Mm-hmm. I actually had to delete most of it and go at it a different route.
Okay.
So that might be in that timeline link. I didn't go through all of it. There was a lot of information.
He had developed diesel race engines to race at Indianapolis.
Nice.
Back in the, I want to say 20s or 30s. Okay? Mm-hmm. And one of the versions of his engines, one of the very first ones he made, overheated severely during a race. Mm-hmm. He ends up losing the race because the engine melts down, it seizes. Ooh. Was that you or me?
That was me.
Okay.
So we're just not bumped the table.
He was so pissed off at the engine, and this is one of the very first engines he designed for any sort of like serious application like that. Mm-hmm. On his way back from Indianapolis to his shop, he pulled over on a bridge outside of Indianapolis and threw the Cummins engine off the bridge into the river.
Interesting.
I did a bunch of research about that a number of years ago, and to the best of my knowledge, that engine has never been recovered. It is one of the first Cummins engines of all times. It is a Cummins race engine. I think that a diving operation, maybe somebody with some underwater magnometer, something like that, needs to locate this engine. Now, of course, obviously, you'd have to look at where the bridges were then, and if anything's changed. We don't know which bridge it was. Maybe you could figure it out, but figure out where that thing is, recover it. It'd be a neat museum piece.
Yeah, we're going to talk later about that.
And it's a side note of history that most people don't know anything about.
And I know a guy with a side scan.
There you go. Well, I don't know what to show up besides. I mean, you figure it's an engine. It's probably buried in river mud. So it's probably underneath a river bottom, or
Yeah,
if
it's
the
been almost
river
100 years.
100 years ago is the river bend has changed or
that
something.
could've-
But man, if that thing can ever be recovered,
It,
it's not going to have any worth. It's
no.
it's going to be a cool museum piece.
if it's
though.
even still there.
Yeah, if it's still there.
Yeah.
But
We'll talk later.
okay. So continue on. Where did you want to go with this story after that?
Well, I was going to tell you about some of the applications they have, and I'm going to read through this quickly because there's a lot of them.
Okay.
So they are, they distribute engines, filtration, and power generation products, service-related equipment, including fuel systems, controls, air handling, filtration, emissions controls, electrical power generation systems, and trucks. They have applications in agriculture, construction, defense, drilling, Euro trucks and buses, fire and emergency, fire pump drives, G-drive engines, gas compression, heavy-duty truck, light commercial vehicles, marine applications, medium-duty truck, mining, motorhome and RV, pickup truck, railroad systems, repowering, school bus, transit bus, truck equipment manufacturers and bodybuilders, and well servicing.
Bodybuilders?
I don't think they mean like the muscle man stuff.
Oh, no. I pick things out and put things up and put them down.
Yeah, whatever that unassociated company is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have an insane. As of 2018, they had a net income of $2.19 billion on sales.
I think
Net income of that and sales of $23.7 billion.
I think what Johnny Orange here is saying
They're huge.
is that Cummins engines have been used in everything.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oh my God.
Pretty much everything but aviation. Or you're going to tell me somewhere, oh my God, you're looking at your notes.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
wouldn't
aware.
be surprised.
I'm not aware of Cummins engines ever being used in some sort of airplane. I'm not saying that they haven't at some point, but
Yeah. They may have tried.
But pretty much, if it goes down the road,
wanna
if it
look
goes
now.
off road, if it goes through the water, if it plows through a field,
Yeah.
it has been powered by a Cummins engine at some point or another.
Oh yeah. There's actually I meant to highlight this note.
They are the oldest continuously operating diesel engine company that is still successful today.
Oh, I believe it.
That's
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Detroit Diesel's still around. But Detroit Diesel was a GM product after they were founded.
Yeah.
They'd purchased another company. I sound like I'm dying.
It's okay.
But
Do a flip on the way out.
yeah. Anyways,
Oh, this is bumming me out now.
What's that?
It had a Toyota note here.
what did they use them in Toyotas at some point?
Not from a factory. No, this is bothering me. I can't find this now.
Well,
I meant to highlight
our
it.
buddy at Quick Draw makes adapters for them for
Yeah.
Toyotas,
Oh, yeah.
but
I'll have to come across it here. Actually, that might be in this set of notes.
actually, I want to tell you a quick funny story about that. But why don't we take a quick break?
Sounds good.
And when we come back, I'm going to tell you about something that Quick Draw is doing right now with the Cummins thing.
Sounds good. I'm going to find this. You can go hack a lung up, and we'll talk to you in a few.
I'm looking forward to it.
Puppies are cute. Spiders are not. Spiders are creepy and ugly. But what will you do? You will call ABC Home and Commercial Services. The Spider Fighters can service your home for these unwelcome guests. ABC Spider Fighters will provide the solution for your spiders, wasps, box elder bugs, Asian lady beetles, cluster flies, and all your visiting insects. Call now for a prepaid discount. ABC Home and Commercial. The Spider Fighters. 810-794-5678.
All right, we're back, John. I can't promise you that I'm much better. I'm a little bit better.
Only hacked up half a lung?
Yeah, I got a little bit of Sudafed here. But
I wondered what that smell was.
yeah, hopefully we're gonna be better.
Sounds good.
I told you I was gonna. Oh, you had something you want to say?
No, I was going to say, I found that note, but it was for Land Rover, not Toyota. I was mistaken.
Cummins and Land Rover have history.
Well, sort of. It's become a very popular swap in the Land Rover community in the UK, and it's known as the good conversion.
Now you're not talking a B series though. You're talking like the 2.8
The
or what?
6BT.
Oh, so it's B series. Yeah.
Yeah.
5.9.
Yep.
Okay.
I had that
Let's talk
mistake of
about
B
those in a
series
minute.
notes. Yeah, I had a whole separate thing for that.
I promised you that I was going to tell you about Chad here. Now,
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Story time.
I know we You're like, story time. Pardon me. Should have had. I'm doing this day in off-road history posts for the museum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that does them. I'm sitting down the other day, and as I've said on the podcast before, as I've told you, sometimes I can find something within like 2 seconds that's boom, this is interesting. Other times it takes me half an hour. Well, whatever. I don't remember where I stumbled across upon it, but the whole, February 3rd is 101 years since Clussy Cummins founded Cummins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh. I wonder if Chad wants to do something fun for that. Because, I don't know, maybe 70% of his business is Cummins engine, either engines or parts for Cummins engines.
Yeah.
So I text him. I'm like, hey, I got an idea for you, blah, blah, blah. So he calls me right away. I happen to be on my way back.
That's how I get a return call.
Yeah, there you go. So he calls me and he's like, what are you talking about? I says, do you know that it's 101 years since, on February 3rd, since Clussy Cummins started the Cummins Company? And he's like, well, I knew it was like 100-something years, but I didn't know the exact date. And I says, okay, well, this is what it is. And he goes, well, yeah, what do you think I should do? So I jokingly said to him, well, why don't you sell your engine packages for $101? And he's like, yeah, of course, I can't do that, And, but he says, how about I give everyone off an engine package $101 off?
That works.
And you remember, we've already talked about how he has those R2.8 Cummins four-cylinder swaps.
Yep.
And he's got those package deals that are like, where he's basically selling you the engine at retail, and then he gives you the adapter.
Yeah.
And the dude's insane when it comes to his pricing on that. I mean, I know I'm sounding like a salesman again here, but I still think
he's got to get one of those wacky inflatable arm flailing things to put out front.
Someday he's going to actually have to make a profit on those things.
Eventually.
I know that he's just basically giving them away right now. But anyways,
yeah.
So he's like, well, yeah, I'll do $101 off on them. And I'm like, so this is even cheap. I said, when? And he goes, well, probably at least through the week of the anniversary. And I said, okay, sweet. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've been really thinking about an R2.8 and you've been ready to pull that trigger, you got that big tax refund or whatever, do it this week because you can get another $101 off.
A few more days left to take advantage of that. I did see that on his website, and that's what actually reminded me.
You saw the code word?
Yeah. It reminded me to do the research for this episode.
Okay. That was part 2.
Yeah.
We just started talking a little bit, and he's like, well, I'm going to do code word this and that. And he had a couple of funny little things. Chad always likes funny stuff. And I said to him, I said, because he makes a lot of listeners don't even know, and a lot of people don't know, he makes custom valve covers for the Cummins engines.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
he makes ones that say Fummins for the Fords. He makes Chummins for the Chevys.
Yeah, I love it.
I says, you ought to make one that says Cummings with a G on it, because everybody always spells Cummings wrong, and he starts laughing, and he's like, I'll never sell one of those. I said, oh, come on, man, you should make the fender badges and everything. And
that would be funny.
Yeah,
that would be.
I says, 100 years from now, people aren't going to know which the right spelling is, And he says, well, tell you what, how about I do code word Cummings? So
I saw it, and
that's what you do. You go to quickdrawbrand.com, and if you want to get $101 off of any of the engine packages on his website, use code word Cummings. So Cummings.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm laughing and coughing at the same time.
And you deserve it. You suggested it. Your fault. I'm blaming you.
Oh, it was totally my fault, but Chad thought it was hilarious, and it was his idea.
It fits. It's funny. It's okay in this instance.
Yeah, if you spell Cummings or Cummins wrong on his site, you put Cummings, you can get $101 off your engine package. But
that used to be a nice trick, actually, using eBay or Craigslist, any of those search websites.
Okay.
People spell things wrong. So you look for what you want spelled right, spell it incorrectly. You'll find all kinds of stuff that nobody bids on because it's not listed properly. It was great.
Absolutely.
They fixed a lot of that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did. But you're right. Back in the day,
It still happens every now and then. People get away with it.
Yeah,
But-
I remember getting I want to say it was a Detroit locker, and somebody had it spelled wrong or something. I think it was a Detroit locker. I bought it for like $100.
Nice.
Yeah, because it was like, and I don't remember why I looked it up, that spelling or something.
Yeah.
I think it was that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyways,
No,
I digress.
I used to buy. I was big into the Angel brand paintball stuff, and people spell it angle all the
yeah.
time. So I got smoking deals on stuff. Back in the
Oh, okay.
day.
All right, John. Story time for our YouTubers and for John. So, our YouTubers are going to tell you what. We haven't done a thing where we do a giveaway in a long time.
You're right. We haven't.
Boom.
Wow, that's been a long time.
This is going to be for our YouTube watchers only,
Okay.
because there's
pay
no way
attention.
you're going to figure this out
Yeah.
by listening to us.
I like it.
I'm going to turn right now. Actually, producer Andrew, come up behind the camera. You're not going to be on the camera. Come on. You need to tell me that you can see this, though, because obviously it's
Put
not
that
going to
finger
work.
back down.
Yeah. You need to tell me, can you see the tattoo on my arm? I need to go this way? Okay, you can see the tattoo on my arm. There is a tattoo on my right arm. Okay?
That's
Now,
your shoulder, really.
For a true, I'm going to give you a hint. For a true motorcycle guy, you should understand what this tattoo means. Okay? If you can say where that tattoo came from, you don't count.
Oh.
If you can say where that tattoo came from, and John, it's going to be your choice. Which one of the social medias do you want them to tell us about?
We haven't done anything with 4x4 talk in a while.
Okay, so on 4x4 Talk, you got to go on 4x4 Talk. You can join 4x4 Talk by going to Facebook. You can join us.
Three
It's
quick, simple questions.
4x4
Nice and easy.
Talk, yep. Join 4x4 Talk, and you can put in there, Keith's tattoo is from this. Okay? And if you're correct, I'm going to send you, what the heck, I feel generous tonight. I'm going to send you a Thin Line Off-Road t-shirt and a Wheelin sticker. So, but it's going to be
Or do we want to do choice of fine apparel?
that's the only quick draw one I have.
So it's going to be a Thin Line Off-Road shirt
Yeah.
and a Wheelin decal.
Yeah, you're going to get a Thin Line Off-Road shirt and
I like it.
and a Wheelin decal.
I like it.
So, anyways, I'm getting this tattoo. And I'm going to tell you, I was getting this tattoo in Las Vegas.
Nice. My parents were just there.
Little tattoo place on the Fremont Strip,
Okay.
right around the corner from the Heart Attack Grill. I wish I could remember the name of the place.
And one of those nights, eh?
It was actually a morning. It was like early in the
Oh.
morning.
Started
Really
drinking that early?
I don't think I stopped.
All right. That's fair.
But anyways, so I'm getting this tattoo, and the night before, I had been talking about where this tattoo came from with a friend, and he was like, and he said to me, that would make a really cool tattoo. And I said, I actually had thought about that before. And he's like, that would be really neat. And so the next morning, I stumble into a tattoo parlor on Fremont Street, and I get this tattoo. So I'm sitting there talking to the tattoo artist, and we're talking about tattoos, of course, because that's what he does. And he's telling me a couple of funny stories. I mentioned, hey, my cousin used to be a tattoo artist. He was a big guy in the industry, and blah, blah, and this and that. And he's since deceased. But anyways, we're talking about it. And he says to me, he starts telling me a couple stories. And the story he tells me, it's kind of a recycled story, but he says, he had this really big girl come in who wanted what's normally a lower back tattoo called tramp stamp a lot of times. Yeah. She wanted this, and she wanted the Japanese kanji symbols.
Okay.
Okay. And so he had this apprentice tattooer there who she had picked to have do this. And so she'd gone and picked out, and she wanted tattooed on her lower back the words "sweet cheeks."
Okay.
I know you're just like, what?
Never float your boat.
Yeah, whatever. So she had taken the kanjis, tattooed on her back, lower back. Well, that night, the girl, real happy with the tattoo, turned out beautiful, blah, 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 pays, leaves. That night, he's out sweeping up the tattoo parlor, and I don't know what you call them, the papers,
Transfer paper, outline paper.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The transfer paper, once again, sorry for my cough here today, folks. Transfer paper, the outline papers, are on the ground. Mm-hmm. He picks them up and he's looking and he goes, something in his mind, he's looking at him and he goes, this didn't look right to him. So he goes over and he looks at the big book and he starts going through the book. And this lady had left the tattoo parlor with not sweet cheeks tattooed on her, but sweat cheeks.
Oh.
Yeah. So she has sweat cheeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that sucks.
Sweet and sweat. People interchange those a lot.
A little bit different.
Yep.
Yeah,
So there you go. Anyways, like you said,
so before getting a tattoo, check the spelling is the moral of that story.
fiance Stephanie, she got a Maltese tattoo on her, and she no, not the cat. It was a Maltese saying, and she ended up going and having a bunch of, because she's Maltese heritage, but she doesn't speak Maltese, so she had a bunch of her Maltese cousins and stuff. She's like, I need to make sure.
I love their milk balls.
What? Oh yeah, for sure. Don't do that to me, buddy.
The show will now be known as Wheelin' with Johnny Orange due to an unfortunate circumstance with Keith. I apologize. Anyways.
Maltese milk balls. Yes. So, anyways, she got a bunch of her cousins and said, "Hey, is this the right spelling?" And, no, it is. She has the right spelling on her arm, but
yeah, that's good.
She wanted to make sure because it was
better than some of what happens with those prison tattoos. Yeah.
I have another tattoo one. Maybe I could tell you in the after show. Maybe we'll see.
I don't know if I want to know about that one.
But speaking of which,
anyway, speaking of the show,
the after show though, real quick, we do a after show on Patreon.
Yes,
John, tell our listeners a little bit about that.
So Patreon is a subscription service. As little as $2 a month, you get access to a lot of bonus content, including basically, another half a show, essentially. So there's a lot of extra information, stuff we forget to bring up during the main show, we bring up during the Patreon episode. And then it's a lot more relaxed, more free range, a little more open in what we can say. A little more colorful stories. Is that probably a good way to put it?
Yeah, I mean, we...
a little more free range.
It's unfiltered. It's not as family friendly as this show.
That's a better phrase. Yeah.
Unfiltered, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few different subscription levels. $2 a month is the cheapest. That gets you access to it. And there's a 5 and a 10.
I think so. I haven't actually looked at the levels lately.
And those will get you stickers and a T-shirt. Different. It's all the information's there.
The benefits of getting the stickers is we've been saying for a couple months now, and it is coming up pretty soon. We're going to do some Wheelin' sticker photo challenges.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. If in fact, I was reminded of that today when I was listening to a different podcast. It was actually not even a 4x4 podcast. It was something completely unrelated. But if anybody's interested and they want a Wheelin' sticker, the easiest way to get one right now, if you'd like, if you send to Keith at thinlineoffroad.com, I don't know what it's postage and this and that. Send me $3. Keith at thinlineoffroad.com. Send $3, and that covers the printing and the postage. We'll send you a Wheelin' decal.
We'll send a couple of them. Well, I know we got a whole sticker pack we can send out for that.
Yeah, send it like PayPal. Yeah. Just do it that way. But anyways, back to Cummins engines, John.
Yeah. Remember where we left off.
Well, we kind of did a little bit of the company history.
Well, I'll throw out this interesting note, and then we can take a quick break, kind of readjust, come back to that.
Because
So-
we haven't even gotten to the B series, the 24 valve and the 6.7 yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So I'll throw this note out real quick because this starts almost about the time that I come into existence. So Cummins engines, they've been an option in the Ram pickups since 1989.
Yes.
I am circa 1988. So they've been around almost as long as I have in those trucks.
Even there's, there's some debunked history, but yeah, there's some history there.
Excellent. Well, let's get into that. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and get into that in a few minutes.
Hey, it sounds like it's time to swap out that old engine for something better, John.
Yeah, man, but I have so much into my trans and transfer case setup already. I don't want to change those too.
Sounds like you need to call Quick Draw Brand Adapters. They specialize in conversion bell housings for nearly all diesel and gasoline engines, including the new 2.8R Cummins.
You know, I like weird engines, though. I want something different.
Then you definitely need to visit QuickDrawBrand.com today. They have those hard-to-find parts. They also have used diesel engines available. You can call them at 513-446-9654.
Cool, I'll do that. See what they have. Thanks.
Well, apparently Andrew, the producer, we're paying him enough. He was able to hit his 2 buttons and go back and sit down over there and have his drink and watch us do what we're doing.
I can't say even blame him. Would you want to sit there and stare at us talking for
Yeah,
an
I
hour?
know, but
Oh, I don't want to do it, and I sit across from him.
I got the throat under control for a little bit.
We'll see.
We'll see. So I don't even remember where. Did I promise that we were going to talk about something when it came? No, I didn't really.
No, I just we hadn't gotten into the B series engines yet,
Okay.
and I had mentioned that they were an option in the Ram trucks since about my time.
1989.
Yes, yeah, a little
Okay,
after me.
So that's widely accepted.
I've been around longer than Cummins has been in Dodge.
Yes, you have.
Sweet.
It's widely accepted. For a couple of years prior, Cummins did testing, or Dodge did testing with the Cummins engine. Mm-hmm. Now, on the books, 1989 is the very first year that you could get a Cummins engine, turbocharged, non-intercooled engine, 12-valve Cummins, the legendary 12-valve,
Indeed.
in the square body Dodge in 1989. There are, like I started to say prior to the break, that there's a little bit of controversy or something like that. Mm-hmm. There have been, and they're disputed, some 87 and 88s with the Cummins engine in them.
Really?
Yeah, and that have surfaced that people say, oh, well, this was a factory test mule or whatever. The original Cummins engine Dodge was, and I forgot what number they called it or serial number, was found a few years ago and restored.
Nice.
And it has like these weird axle coolers on the Dana 70 rear, and they
like diff cover
Yeah.
things or something? Okay.
yeah, they've done some weird things for testing, but it's been restored since. So I guess, without getting into the conspiracy theory of whether or not you could actually, like, if you had money, get a Cummins and a Dodge in 87 or 88, we're going to accept that 89 was the first year.
Well, I was going to say, I actually have a note here about that.
Let's hear.
And this is kind of the most bold note that I have. For the general public, most visible Cummins product is the 5.9-liter inline six used in the Dodge Ram light-duty trucks, starting in 1988 and a half. So that would have been the 89 model year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the build may be from then, but that would have been that model year.
Okay, fair enough. Now, that was the B series Cummins, which prior to being installed in the Dodge trucks was an industrial engine. I think the B series goes back to maybe 85 or so.
84.
84?
Yep.
Pretty good for...
Yeah. Yeah, it was engine family intended, multiple applications, on and off highway, light and medium duty trucks. So,
Exactly.
and
So
it's got 3 generations of it since its inception.
why... why did the B series become so legendary? Do you know?
Simplicity.
Boom. You got it right there.
Yeah.
The first series was standard 2 valves per cylinder, so it was 12 valves. So, you had 6-cylinder, you had as an inline engine. Mm-hmm. inline engines are inherently
Oh, they're
durable.
legendary.
It doesn't matter if it's gas or
Legendary.
diesel.
Yeah.
An inline
4.0
six,
point case,
yeah,
that Mercedes.
300 Ford straight six,
Yep.
230 Chevy straight six, all these inline 6-cylinder engines, they balance. They're not fighting each other. You know, the pistons aren't fighting each other internally, so the engines just last hundreds of thousands of miles.
Oh, yeah.
Just go, go, go. And the 5.9 was that. Now, a couple of things that helped. The 5.9 engine blocks, a lot of them were cast in Mexico where there's a high nickel content. And so these engines, you know, for example, I had a 97 Dodge that finally blew the head gasket at like 550,000 miles.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pulled the head, do the head gasket. You could still see the cross hatching in the cylinder walls.
Oh, yeah. That 88 block that I have in my Project XJ. Did the head swap to just shy of 230,000 miles. Same thing. Factory crosshatch marks on all the cylinder walls. It's beautiful.
You put the combination of a high nickel block with a straight six design, you got an engine that's going to last forever.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So the first series of the Dodge Cummins engine, the B series, which was 89 through 93, had the rotary pump injection pump engine on them.
Right. I forgot about that part.
Now the injection pump, that's what puts the fuel into the engine.
Yeah, that's what changed after that. I had it as 84 to 98. But yeah, you were right. There was the changeover with the pump was in between that.
Yeah, the injection pump.
Yeah, that was the 6BT.
The rotary pump was a very durable, simple design, but it was limited as to the amount of fuel that could go through it.
Yeah.
It was also finicky if you had, say, dirty fuel. 94, for the 12-valve design, they came out with what they call the P pump, the P7100 series. Do you have notes on that?
I did not, other than that they're just the two different styles.
Well, the P pump comes out.
There's a tremendous amount of information available on these things.
So much. P7100 series comes out in 94. Runs through mid-97. 98 model year, they go over to the VA pump, or the V pump. They make the computer-controlled injection pump.
Yeah.
Then they go to the 24-valve.
Yeah.
The 12-valve P pump engine.
Yeah, it was 98.5 to 07.
No. Not the
No,
12.
the 24 valve.
Yeah, the 24-valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 12. Pardon me.
No problem. One of the things, I got a quick note for you while you're doing that. This is something that always surprised me, and I was never exposed to this actually until I started hanging out with you and learning about these more. During this time, Dodge was the only diesel that did not rely on glow plugs for cold weather starting. They got that weird little heater ribbon unit thing.
Yeah, well, they call it a grid heater.
Yeah. I thought it was ribbon for some reason.
Well, I mean, it's essentially an electric stove, a 12-volt electric stove that heats up in your intake.
Yeah, so you're preheating the air charge rather than the fuel going into it. So that would seem to me to be more effective than the glow plugs heating the fuel. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No. It is a superior design.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cummins holds a patent to it or not.
Yeah. You okay there, buddy?
No.
Okay. Got a couple more cough drops there if you need them.
Yeah, I know.
Or if we need to take a quick break, it's not a problem.
We'll continue on. So anyways, part of the thing that made the 12-valve P pump Cummins engine, which was only like a 4-year window, so legendary, was that pretty much any fuel that you push through that mechanically injected engine, that Bosch injection,
Yeah.
it would burn and it would run on.
It's like the old Ford tractors.
How so?
You can put anything in those. I've witnessed people dump paint thinner in them and run them on that mixed with gas, diesel, oil.
Diesel tractors?
No, it's a gas tractor.
Oh,
It's an inline 6 gas tractor, and it just, pretty sure it's a 6.
no, you're talking the old like 8 ends and
Jubilees,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh no, those are 4 cylinders.
Oh, my mistake. I thought
Yeah,
it was
we could do a
6 for
whole
some reason.
episode of those sometimes.
I mean, we could. It's off-road related.
Sure.
I've driven them on the road. That wasn't a fun day. Half the trailer of hay fell off.
No good.
No, that was a mess. Right on the corner of an intersection, too. That was a mess. Anyways,
I'm gonna try to tell the story without dying on us here.
okay.
I first found out about the P pumps. I guess the bug out a bit, or is that what you call it? Yeah, like bug out.
Bug out ability.
Yeah, bug out ability.
Yeah.
I had bought an old commercial building, and there was a big old oil drum in the back, full of oil. Put it on Craigslist.
Okay.
Guy calls me up, and I put it for free. Guy calls me up, says, "You still got that oil drum that's half full of oil?" I said, "Yeah." It was like 200 gallons of oil or whatever. He goes,
It's a lot of oil.
"Yeah." He goes, "I'd like to come pick it up." Or it was maybe a 200-gallon tank, and it was like 100 gallons of oil or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
either or.
Yeah. He goes, "Like, come pick it up." Great. I'll be here, blah, blah, blah date. He shows up. He pulls up, same year, make, and model. I was driving at the time a 94 Dodge Cummins truck. It was my shop truck. Regular cab, 8-foot bed. The only difference between my truck and his truck was the color. Mine was gray, his was red. And he pulls up with it, drops a oil transfer pump into the tank, promptly starts to pump it into the fuel tank of his truck.
Nice.
And I'm standing there going,
What is wrong with you?
"Yeah, what? This is old oil that you don't even know the history of. What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, this is how I drive around." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "It'll run on used motor oil." I says, "There's no way." He goes, "Oh, yeah, it's a P-pump." I says, "Okay." I says, "I understand that it's a P-pump, but, you know, you're putting used motor oil in there. Or in mystery motor oil
Yeah.
at that, you know."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, no, it'll be fine." So he pumps it up, then puts the rest in a container in the back of his truck and takes off.
Okay.
I go start Googling things. Sure enough, he's right.
Nice.
So, but I still didn't trust it. So, probably 4 or 5 months after that, the transmission started to go on my truck. And it was a rusted shop truck at best. I mean,
I
the
remember.
cab corners were gone, the bed was rotted.
Yep.
I said, "Well, let's test this theory." And the trans is slipping. It's still working.
Yeah. I remember that truck quite well.
Everything from my shop used motor oil, trans fluid, power steering fluid, brake fluid. Didn't matter what. Got dumped in the tank of that thing. I didn't go to a gas station for 4 months.
I believe it. I remember you and we drove down to Monroe in that truck to pick up another Cummins engine.
Did
And
we
that-
really?
Yeah, that particular day you were running on synthetic marine oil.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. I remember the guy, he had mini trucks. You're showing us all these weird custom mini truck projects that he was doing.
I completely blanked out. I mean,
Yeah. I had never seen a truck that small before, and I thought it was like a go-kart or something. He says, "No, that's an S10." I'm like, "Wait.
seriously?
What?" Yeah.
I don't remember this day whatsoever.
Yeah, I remember we did the fuel mileage calculation. It worked out to like 35 miles to the gallon or something with it.
On his mini truck or mine?
On yours.
Oh.
On yours, running on synthetic marine oil. Remember that very well.
That's funny. I blanked out on that, but yeah, no, I remember I remember the very first time that I took that thing to the station. After I started running it off of all the junk around the shop. It was middle of the winter. It was like 5 degrees below zero. It was really cold. I had fired up the old Dodge, and she is just running as rough as can be. And I realized that the motor oil that I'm running it on is just really thick. I said, I got to thin this out. Mm-hmm. So I drove it over to my local gas station, pulled it up to a gas pump, pumped in like 4 gallons of gasoline to thin out the oil.
Okay.
I had a guy run out to me. He's like, that's a gas pump. That's a gas pump. I know what I'm doing.
I'm still waiting for that day when I'm at a diesel pump in my Wrangler.
Drove down the yeah, that's right. Drove down the road, swaying the steering wheel back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Got to
sloshing it around.
Yep.
Within like 2 miles, just running smooth as could be.
Oh, I believe it.
Thinned out the oil with a little bit of gasoline.
Yep.
I mean, it was amazing the abuse I could put. And that's one of the reasons that the 12-valve Cummins with the P7100 pump became so legendary.
It's simple.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I'd love to do an oil conversion someday on that Mercedes. It's the same thing. It's a mechanical fuel pump. It'll do it.
Okay.
People do that and that waste veggie oil thing. I won't do that.
No.
I gotta do too much to make that work.
So,
But
John, I know you got a lot of notes there, and I think I kind of want to let you finish this out with maybe some questions I have. What
I'll try.
The 12-valve has this legendary status. 98, they replaced it with a 24-valve 5.9. You go from there.
Well, yeah, they switched over to that. The fuel system, I mean, that's what it was. It was a Bosch mechanical pump with electronic advance. It went up to 24 valves, so 4 valves per cylinder now.
Runs a little quieter.
That was
breathes
the biggest
a little
thing.
better. Yeah.
Where was that? That's in this one. Wow, I completely organized a couple of these.
That's all right.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was noticeably quieter than the previous engines. This actually runs, so the 24 valve ran through 2007. And midway through 04, the Cummins 600 was introduced, producing 325 horsepower. And I thought it had, versus the 305 in the 2003 model.
Well, that would be the commonrail design.
Okay.
Yeah, when they went to the commonrail design, that was part of the, there was an international, agreement between Fiat Powertrain, Cummins, and I forgot who else was in it, but
Yeah.
they developed the commonrail engine technology, which Cummins had some problems with early on. Unfortunately, the 04 and newer engines are not as desirable as the older stuff.
No, you get the noise issue with the 12, but you get the reliability and legendariness of it.
Yeah, there you go.
So all of this, it boils down to the current rendition of it, the 6.7 liter Cummins, which is 07 to present.
Which I think has the highest tow rating or something. Or
Yeah, I did have a note on that, and again, I thought I highlighted it, and
John, you
apparently
failed
I
your
lost
homework
it.
today, man.
I ran out of time.
You were supposed to do all the talking on this episode.
I never agreed to that.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, where was it here? This is actually really bothering me because it was a significant number. I know I got it here.
Wasn't it that and I'm just shooting from the hip here. Weren't they the first ones to break 1,000 foot-pounds of torque from the factory application?
I did have that note. That's my other stack.
I think.
So that is what page? Yeah, so in 2019, they achieved 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Yes.
Oh, it's actually on this page. So paired with the Asian 6-speed automatic, which is blasphemy in my book, the Cummins-powered Ram 3500 towing capacity. You want to take a stab what this is?
The towing capacity?
Yeah.
32.5.
Excess of 31,000 pounds.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's 400 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, best-in-class towing, and all of this unmatched fuel economy and a class-leading 15,000-mile oil change interval.
Okay.
That's nuts. I mean, I'm going to change it at least, I wouldn't go past 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been lazy and gone a little longer, but in all fairness, I leak oil, so it kind of...
Yeah, well, you leave your...
Yeah, I leave a mark everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, a tremendous amount of information to say the least. I mean, these guys, they've been around a long time. You know, that website, again, like I said, if you want to look at more details on the Cummins timeline, its origination, development up to where we are now, it's cummins.com, no G, /timeline. And there's all kinds of breakdowns you can go through, you know, different things about all these different applications for it, all kinds of stuff you can get into it. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
You know, folks, I apologize for as sick as I am. I have a lot of other great things I'd like to talk about Cummins, and we can do them in future episodes.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have a lot more about it. We didn't even touch on the 4BT.
I think that needs to be maybe a separate episode.
Yeah, it's the 6BT, but 2/3.
Yeah, you moved 2 cylinders.
Yeah.
Let's stop it there, John. Unless you got something else you wanted to talk about.
No,
but,
I mean I know we kind of hurried at the end there, but if we didn't, we'd be here until next week going over all this stuff. So
I want to wish a happy 101 birthday to Cummins.
Absolutely,
And,
cheers to you folks.
Yeah, cheers to you. Oh, there you go. Cheers to Cummins.
Absolutely.
And you know,
here's to 100 more.
Yeah, 100 more. 100 more. Hopefully, you guys are powering the flying cars of the future.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Actually, I had one.
Oh my God! Are you going to tell
final.
me they powered a flying car?
No, not flying. But where'd it go? The Cummins Aeros. They had an electric-powered conventional truck.
What?
They made it's an electric-powered semi-truck tractor unit.
Okay, when was
designed
this?
by Cummins. I actually didn't write the year down. I forgot.
Research, folks. Go check it out.
Yeah, all that information's readily available out there. Check it out, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything else, Keith. If not,
I'm good, buddy.
well, thanks for listening, and have a good one, everybody.